Everybody was born to do different things, you know. You got some people out there that was born to be a doctor. I knew I was gonna do this. You could tell by my upbringing, I was destined to do this rap shit, not singing. 6'8" glass house leaning, meaning what I say and saying what I meaning. Ain't no in between when you on the paper chase. There's not much time to waste. Dodging a murder case, staring death in the face. Always keep my shoes laced. Case I gotta run extra knots in my belt to secure my guns. Don't sag no more. Keep my clothes a baggy fit with a strap on my hip. 38 in my jacket, hidden pockets for clips. Just in case these Bloods and Crips decide that they want a set trip. See me, a whole flip. Invest in a chick, then collect my chips. Or her tombstone we rip, pacify the street. Make sure broke niggas eat. And my soldiers I distribute with heat. I experience the frowning face, now must come to smile. I cry now and laugh later. Smiles and cries. I experience the frowning face, now must come to smile. I cry now and laugh later. Smiles and cries. I experience the frowning face, now must come to smile. I cry now and laugh later. Smiles and cries. I experience the frowning face, now must come to smile. I cry now and laugh later. I remember being hated on. I was told I'd never make it. People tried to scar my emotions. I couldn't take it. The negative cycle had to break it. Even chicks that I dealt with said quit. Called me selfish, said I'm wasting time, busting rhymes. Damning me, saying I need to get a job and raise a family. They tried tempting me, but without music I felt empty. I refused to let any bride pimp me. Now the tables turned, and I'm watching Satan burn. Success is the best revenge, is what I learned. Now I earn my respect now. Cashing royalty checks now. I'm the one they can't neglect now. I experience the frowning face, now must come to smile. I cry now and laugh later. I experience the frowning face, now must come to smile. I cry now and laugh later. I experience the frowning face, now must come to smile. I cry now and laugh later. I experience the frowning face, now must come to smile. I cry now and laugh later. I experience the frowning face, now must come to smile. I cry now but laugh later. Smiles and cries. I experience the frowning face, now must come to smile. I cry now but laugh later. I experience the frowning face, now must come to smile. I cry now but laugh later. I experience the frowning face, now must come to smile. I cry now but laugh later. Smiles and cries. When you really think about it, that's all we got out here. So if you let somebody control your smiles or own your cries, that's when they...
At the state and a stone in between at the churches.
Witnessed some kind of secondary follow-up explosion.
10 o'clock Eastern Time this morning, just collapsing on itself. We have no idea what caused this.
Right now, police have to determine is whether that explosion was caused from the initial impact of the plane or whether it was something that was exploded on the ground. Generally speaking, for a building to collapse in on itself like that, it would seem to indicate that there could have been an explosion, a bomb planted on the ground that would make the building collapse within itself.
If you wish to bring anybody who's ever watched a building being demolished on purpose knows that if you're going to do this, you have to get at the under infrastructure of a building and bring it down.
The Twin Towers were composed of 200,000 tons of steel, 425,000 cubic yards of concrete, 103 elevators, 43,600 windows, 60,000 tons of cooling equipment, and a 360-foot television antenna. The core of each tower was 87 by 133 feet, comprised of 47 box columns 36 by 16 inches thick. Were the Twin Towers brought down as a result of the airplanes that struck them and the fires that followed, or were they brought down in a controlled demolition? Where would people get an idea like that?
Pancake theory, according to which the fires, while not melting the steel, heated it up sufficiently to cause the floors weakened by the airplane strikes to break loose from the steel columns, and this started a chain reaction.
So you would expect then from that theory, which is the official theory, to see a whole stack of floors piled up on top of each other and then a spindle of core columns standing too.
The core of each of the Twin Towers consisted of 47 massive steel columns. If the floors had broken loose from them, these columns would have still been sticking up into the air 1,000 feet.
The plane did not cut all those core columns.
We designed the buildings to take the impact of the Boeing 707 hitting the building at any location.
The building probably could sustain multiple impacts of jetliners.
That the plane flew straight into the building.
Through him, right.
So you're saying that the building was actually designed to cope with a hole like that and still survive?
Yeah, it was.
If you had dropped, say, a billiard ball from the top of the World Trade Center, 110 floors up there, it would have taken 8 to 10 seconds to hit the ground, encountering no resistance whatsoever.
The Twin Towers came down in nearly free fall speed. 200,000 tons of steel shatters and explodes outwards over 500 feet.
This means that floors shattered at an average rate of about 10 floors per second.
There is no scenario for a pancake effect of buildings falling that allows them to fall at the rate of free fall.
Now what can do that? What can move mass out of the way? Explosives.
Heard the noise associated with an implosion.
Secondary explosion on Tower 2.
Some sort of explosive device.
We're obviously having a bit of trouble right now maintaining our location because we just heard one more explosion.
There was another major explosion.
Do you know anything about those extra explosions we heard?
No, I do not.
Were they car bombs?
I have no idea, ma'am.
The street shook, and I heard like an explosion.
Do you know if it was an explosion or if it was a building collapse? To me, it sounded like an explosion. We heard a very loud blast, an explosion. They were taking photographs and securing this area just prior to that huge explosion that we all heard and felt. Not clear now is why this explosion took place. When there was some sort of collapse or explosion,
from street level, as though it had exploded up, a giant rolling ball of flame, and the firefighters screamed, "Run!"
It was this blast of warm air. It wasn't hot. It was warm. And it picked me up and threw me up against the wall of the building.
You were picked up off the ground.
Physically picked up off the ground.
I remember an explosion. At that point, I got knocked out. I don't remember anything. Then I got up, and I looked out the window because the windows exploded, and the street below caved in. And at that point, there was like fireballs coming up.
An hour later than that, we had that big explosion from much, much lower. I don't know what on earth caused that.
About 15 minutes after they made their entry, we heard a boom. I don't know if that was the infrastructure that was going or another explosion.
Again, there has been a second explosion.
John, just seconds ago there was a huge explosion, and it appears right now the second World Trade Tower has just collapsed.
All of a sudden I heard rumbling, and we all started running away from it. The glass blew out and threw me onto the sidewalk, and I couldn't see for 20 seconds.
It was like holy hell coming down them stairs. And then when we finally got to the bottom, they were coming out on the mezzanine level there. And another explosion came right from it, just everyone flying.
We stuck on the stairs for a while. We finally got down to the lobby. Then we get to the lobby, it was this big explosion.
So I was real lucky. I don't know what happened to the people behind me when that blast occurred.
And was actually on the 78th floor of the second tower, and was evacuating the tower, and experienced all these explosions and made his way back down.
We presume because of the initial explosion, there may have been secondary explosions as well that were detonated in the building by these terrorists.
There was a secondary explosion, probably a device either planted before or on the aircraft that did not explode until an hour later.
I heard a second explosion and another rumble and more smoke and more dust. I ran inside the buildings, the chandelier shook, and again, black smoke filled the air. Within another 5 minutes, we were covered again with more silt and more dust. And then a fire marshal came in and said we had to leave because if there was a third explosion, this building might not last.
Eyewitnesses also reported that explosions had taken place in lower levels of both the North and South Tower.
They were having coffee in the World Trade Center when the first plane struck.
And all of a sudden it sounded like, I don't know where the subway is, but it sounded like a subway collision, a bomb, and it was just pounding, boom, 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 and I literally thought the subway had exploded. And
the ladies that are with me were in the World Trade Center in the first building and escaped through the lobby where they report that they believe there was a bomb in the lobby.
Just get out of the tunnel and the blue.
The subway tunnel?
Yeah.
Yes, I was right there. I was down in the basement, came down, all of a sudden the elevator blew up, smoke. I dragged the guy out, his skin was hanging off, and I dragged him out, and I helped him out to the ambulance.
And when I got up to the concourse level, it was just like
you know, like gunfire and then just 3 big explosions.
And even the turnstile was burnt and was sticking up, and they just told us to run.
I heard the first explosion, and the elevator blew up.
And as we were coming out, we passed the lobby. There was no lobby. So I believe the bomb hit the lobby first, and a couple of seconds then the first plane hit.
Our office was on the B1 level. As I was talking to a supervisor at 8:46, and all of a sudden we hear, boom! An explosion so hard that pushed us upwards. And it came from the basement between the B2 level and the B3 level. And when I went to verbalize, we hear, boom! The impact of the plane on the top.
As I'm walking by the main freight corridor building in the corridor, that's when I got blown. I mean, the impact of the explosion threw me to the floor, and that's when everything started happening. All of a sudden, a big impact happened again. And all the ceiling tile was falling down, the light fixtures were falling. You know, you got to go clear across the whole from 1 to 2 World Trade Center. And then all of a sudden it happened all over again. Something else hit us to the floor. Right in the basement, you felt it. Walls were caving in, everything that was going on. I mean, I know of people that got killed in the basement. I know of people that got broken legs in the basement. People that got reconstructive surgery because the walls hit them in the face.
Tell them niggas what they got in store. With the Terrence album and the project you're working on, let's talk about a little something what you're doing.
Well, the project is Harvard business. You know what I'm saying? It's about my things that I seen, my point of view, or what I'm going through. You know what I'm saying? And the songs that I make, I'm not catering to the clubs. I'm catering to the cars. I'm catering to the street people. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about hard times. I'm not really talking about fun times because I ain't had no fun times like that unless I was dope dealing. You know what I'm saying? Those was fun times. So when you hear my music, don't think it's gonna sound like somebody else's, because now that I done heard it on a CD, it don't sound like nobody else's. So they let me know that I do have a chance in the game. I don't plan on being too commercial because I don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? There's enough money out there for me to stay myself and make it. And for the rappers out there that is like Lil Wayne, you know what I'm saying? He say your blood and all that, but it still don't matter. You know what I'm saying? I feel the music keep making this garbage. He ain't keeping it real with us. The nigga came out talking about dope dealing and talking about hustling. Now all of a sudden he want to switch to rock and roll and go further and further with it. He ain't keeping it true to us. Now, other people that's out there that keeping it true, like Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane, his music and his tapes, he's still making street music. He ain't changed up like that. So I get them props. You know what I'm saying? But Lil Wayne, he went too far gone because I don't even understand 6 feet, 7 feet. The title don't have nothing to do with the lyrics. And then when he rhyming, like for instance, when he talking, he say, my mind gone or something, cut my head off. That shit, I couldn't even say no shit like that, cut my head off. I mean, it don't, I mean, come on now, what got you famous, what took you there? He's forgetting what made him. And that's what we need to realize, what made him. You know what I'm saying? Because, and then, I mean, I like Lil' Kim. You know what I'm saying? And Sweet T and MC Lyte. Nicki Minaj, she alright, I guess, for something, but I wouldn't buy her album. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't like the music she make, because they made a big deal about her. They made it seem like she had lyrics. And I haven't heard no lyrics. I heard rhymes, but I haven't heard no lyrics from her. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think they doing anything hard like that. They just making it off of fame and publicity, just like Drake. I don't even think Drake hard. You know what I'm saying? I like when they say hard, I don't think it's a dude named Saigon from New York. He type. You know what I'm saying? People like that. Not the people that they putting out there, but that's the money they got to put behind them to make them famous. The promos, you know, all that stuff. That's how come they selling like that. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, if they didn't have the money behind them, they wouldn't be selling like that. Because I mean, I listen to his lyrics, and it's like they the big deal they was making about him, I was expecting him to, like I say, Kendrick Lamar. You know what I'm saying? People like him. It's like, those are lyrics. Not like what they be doing. You know what I'm saying? We coming out with real stuff, real music. You know what I'm saying? And it's just time for the other ones, just let it go, give it up, or stay pop. Don't say you street, say you pop and leave the streets alone. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they want to do anyway. They scared. You know what I'm saying? They want to make it talk about the streets, but they don't want to be out here and do nothing. And Harvard Business is just, like I said, just going to be me and my rhymes talking about hard times. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's going to be about, because I'm having hard times. My rhymes ain't going to say I live in a mansion. It's not going to say none of that, because I don't live in no mansion. You know what I'm saying? It's going to talk about a shack to a penthouse, because I lived in the penthouse before my grandmama. You know what I'm saying? In the shack, I stayed in the shack, a 2-bedroom shack, a small, like a garage house. But other than that, I'm just gonna do my music and be me and put other people on that's doing the same thing. So that's it, Janky Love.
I'm not the one to play the background, I stay down. And if you paralyze my pockets, you'll be found. And if you paralyze my pockets, you'll be found. And if you paralyze my pockets, you'll be found. I'm not the one to play the background, I stay down. And if you paralyze my pockets, you'll be found. Yo, what's up, everybody? This is for the behind the scenes. We working on Paralyzed Pockets right now. My character right now, they call me Loosefoot, you know what I'm saying? I'm a flowing bomb rapper that's low key with a goatee. Got my full beard this time. Sitting here, you know, playing the character of Loosefoot right now. About to sip on a little of this good stuff. Throw a shout out to everybody out there in music land, you know what I'm saying? Loosefoot signing out, y'all. Paralyzed Pocket behind the scenes. Fuck, he got it here. I'm not the one to play the background, I stay down. And if you paralyze my pockets, you'll be found. And if you paralyze my pockets, you'll be found. And if you paralyze my pockets, you'll be found. I'm not the one to play the background, I stay down. And if you paralyze my pockets, you'll be found.
On 9/11, New York City lost 343 firefighters at the World Trade Center. Since they were the ones inside the towers before and as they collapsed, I'd say they've got a pretty good grasp on what happened. So what does the FDNY think?
I went around by the freight elevator and I could see it was just blown. It was just a giant ship. 30th floor. We hear another explosion. And at that time we heard a huge explosion.
Firefighter Louis Caccioli told People Weekly, "I was taking firefighters up in the elevator to the 24th floor to get in position to evacuate workers. On the last trip up, a bomb went off. We think there were bombs set in the building." For more than a year, the Port Authority blocked the release of a tape of firefighters' transmissions from the World Trade Center on 9/11. In November 2002, the tape was finally released to the New York Times and other news outlets. Why did it take so long to get the tape released?
I got an eyewitness who said there was an explosion on floor 7-8. 7-8. We've just had another explosion. Warren Street, because of the secondary explosion. We've got numerous people covered with dust from the secondary explosion. And we got another explosion on the tower, 1013, 1013. Number 2 has had a major explosion and what appears to be a complete collapse surrounding the entire area. Who's involved in the secondary explosion at Tower 1K? I've got 5.
It was like crossing the war zone. There was nobody there. Where the fuck? What do we do? We made it outside. We made it about a block.
We made it at least 2 blocks, and we started running. Floor by floor, instead of popping out.
It was if they had detonated.
Detonated.
They were planned to take down a building. Boom, 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 boom.
All the way down. I was watching it and running.
One eyewitness was standing among a crowd of people on Church Street, 2.5 blocks from the South Tower, when he saw a number of brief light sources being emitted from inside the building between floors 10 and 15. He saw about 6 of these flashes, accompanied by a crackling sound before the tower collapsed.
You heard a big explosion before the building fell?
I saw it as it was happening, and it sounded as if
you had 100 of those little black cat firecrackers and you lit them all off at once. That's what it sounded like. It sounded like the finale of the 4th of July over the East River.
Yeah, here's one of the guys. He can tell you I'm okay. All right. Here, hold on. You want to call your mother or something?
You gotta get back. You know that. You gotta get back.
All right.
I know.
4-1 should have taken a couple of companies that they were leaving back to us. They were stuck in the tunnel.
What does science have to say about the collapses? The collapse of the World Trade Center was picked up by Columbia University's observatory in Palisades, New York. The South Tower registered as a 2.1 earthquake. The North Tower registered as a 2.3 earthquake. Won Young Kim told Chris Bolin that their seismographs pick up underground explosions from a quarry 20 miles away. These blasts are caused by 80,000 pounds of ammonium nitrate and cause local earthquakes between magnitude 1 and 2. The 1993 bombing of the World Trade Center did not even register because it was not coupled to the ground. During the collapse, most of the energy of the falling debris was absorbed by the towers and the neighboring structures, converting them into rubble and dust or causing other damage, but not causing significant ground shaking.
47 huge steel columns going up the core. They're interconnected. How do you get them to fail simultaneously so the core disappeared? It looks like those core columns were cut.
The way we do this is by cutting the beam at an angle.
And our conclusion is that the building should not have fallen that rapidly if indeed fire caused the collapse. And in fact, there's one mechanical engineer, Gordon Ross, in the Journal of 911 Studies, who's done a thorough analysis based on conservation momentum.
If the official story was correct, then the heating that was supposed to cause the failure would have been a much slower event, and it would have been an asymmetric event. For the tower to collapse straight down onto itself flies in the face of what we know about steel and how steel behaves. When we have a failure in one area, then the failures tend to continue within that area, and you see an asymmetric collapse, possibly the upper section falling off as it twisting away from the tower and falling off. But it's very unusual to see the upper section falling straight through the path of the greatest resistance, which was straight down through the middle of the tower. It just does not add up.
Steel beams weighing up to 200,000 pounds were thrown laterally up to 500 feet. A cross-section from the World Trade Center, weighing approximately 300 tons, was embedded in the southeastern corner of the American Express building. This piece would have had to travel at least 390 feet, maintaining enough kinetic energy to embed itself in the corner of the building.
What we should have seen in the debris pile was a pyramidal shape. If it had been a gravity-driven collapse, we would have seen a roughly pyramidal shape or a conic shape. What we actually did see was a massive ejection of dust and debris and large sections of steel from well away from the towers, tens of meters away from the towers. That's hard it's hard to see a reason for that within a gravity-driven collapse.
Do you still think that jet fuel brought down the World Trade Center? In all the videos of the collapses, explosions can be seen bursting from the building 20 to 30 stories below the demolition wave. Here, 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 and here. Etienne Sauret was filming her documentary, World Trade Center, the first 24 hours, and caught both collapses on tape. Watch carefully. The tripod shakes 12 seconds before the North Tower begins collapsing. And something is knocked off the right-hand side of the building. You're probably asking, if there were bombs in the building, how would they get in there without anyone noticing? Ben Fountain, a financial analyst who worked in the World Trade Center, told People magazine that in the weeks before 9/11, there were a number of unannounced and unusual drills where sections of both the Twin Towers and Building 7 were evacuated for security reasons. Daria Cord, a guard in the North Tower, told Newsday that security detail was working 12-hour shifts for 2 weeks before 9/11, but on Thursday the 6th, bomb-sniffing dogs were abruptly removed from the building. So who authorized all this? President Bush's brother, Marvin, was board of directors at Securicom from 1993 until fiscal year 2000. Securicom, now known as Stratasec, is an electronic security company backed by Kuwait American Corporation, which provided security for United Airlines, Dulles International Airport, and from the early 1990s up to the day of 9/11, the World Trade Center. Marvin is also the former director at HCC Insurance Holdings, which insured parts of the World Trade Center on 9/11. More information on this was supposed to be disclosed and never was. To date, the SEC has not revealed what they have learned.